Hey, y'all, my name is Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. We just wrapped an episode that took almost 2 hours to film.
Yeah, it was so good we recorded it twice.
Right? Except we didn't actually record it the first time. We just talked into a room without the microphones plugged in. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. We had a really fun and, as Derek put it, our most accomplished behind the microphone guest.
Yeah, no, this we were so pumped about this. One of the guys that we was wanting to get on the podcast since the very beginning.
Yeah, Jeff Houghton. Emmy Award winning Jeff Houghton was on the show this week. And so
somehow we talked him into being on the old podcast, and he did not disappoint.
No, fun stories, interesting insights, and just a lot of interesting stuff coming out of a guy who's been in the public eye for the better part of a decade.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool.
And he was gracious enough to lend us his catchphrase for the dad hat.
Exactly. So we're gonna start. We're gonna absolutely rip that off and use that in future episodes. So I'm really excited about it. So without further ado, I think we jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Decent Dads podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek, for the second time tonight?
Doing
because
great.
I've already recorded this once with Jeff in the room.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Doing great. Round two, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling looser. I'm good to go.
No jitters.
Oh,
right.
so this is Bryant admitting that we messed up the audio again, and so we're doing this intro again.
It's not a we. It's not a we.
No, it's not a we. It's a Bryant. No, it's 100% it's me. No, he's right.
Hey,
Me and Jeff had nothing to do with
not
it.
us.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
Don't
you
put
guys
any
had
blame.
nothing to do with it, I promise.
Oh man, but yeah. So round two.
Good Lord.
It's a great day for a great day.
It's a good day.
It's always a good day when we have our hoppy coffee.
And all the fun stuff that goes along with it,
That's
too.
right. It's even better whenever we have a fabulous guest
Who knows the production side of the business
right.
and is able to help us start our timer.
That's right.
It's almost like this guy should be on the payroll, but instead we're paying him in weedy coffee.
That's right. Wheaty coffee.
Wheaty coffee.
There's an
Wheaty
H. There's
coffee.
an H.
There's H and a T in there. Wheaty coffee.
But no, super pumped and stoked about our guest. This week. Jeff Houghton, probably our most accomplished guest behind the microphone
For sure.
that we've had by far.
Listen to him.
Yeah. Not to brag on him, but 4-time Emmy winner, was the host of his own TV show, The Mystery Hour.
And now they're doing it live.
Now they're doing it live, improv style. So that's awesome. But no, the thing I think me and Brian are most excited about was when we started this whole podcast journey. We made a list of people we wanted to have on the show, and Jeff, you were like we mentioned before, you were very high up on that list.
Yeah.
You won't say what number.
No, I will. You were 3, and our dads were the only 2 guys ahead of us, ahead of you. So
and we can't get them on for some reason. So
so you're our new dad.
Automatically number 1 now. So yeah.
The number one of people willing to do it.
Yes, exactly. I like this thought
That's
process.
what every guest is every week.
But yeah, Jeff, I don't want to steal your thunder here, but tell us, who you are, what you do, give us your dad resume, tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, and which one's your favorite.
Sure.
My favorite.
This is so much better because you've already
pause.
heard all these questions.
Let's see. So, my name is Jeff Houghton. I host The Mystery Hour. We're on TV for 10 seasons. Now we're doing the show live in front of an audience like we used to do back in the day. And I have the Writers Room Creative Comedy Agency, and I host events and speak and do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I have 3 children, 10 years old, 5 years old, and 12 weeks old.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah.
That's the real stuff.
Yeah. Spit up time.
Yeah.
For sure.
In the
Oh,
thick of it
absolutely.
again. You got a good pattern there, 10, 5, newborn.
I don't know if it's the right way to do it. But we've definitely done it that way. Yeah.
It's the cards we have dealt ourselves.
And we'll have no more on the way.
Yeah, fine. Well,
Thanks to Dr. So.
I was going to say there are scientific methods to make that work. Well, man, again, we're so excited you're here. We do a couple of things every week. We start our episode, other than the introductions, with Tantrum of the Week. We're kind of firm believers that whether your kids are 6 weeks old or 16 or 60 years old, they're probably having tantrums. They're just going to change over the years.
Yeah.
DC, did you have any good tantrums this week or anything that you can think of?
I did. Had an epic one tonight. As I mentioned before, we're not going to talk about it on this episode because it's still
it's still raw. It's still too fresh.
Still stewing in my mind. I'm like, what happened? It was a long one.
Have you ever seen I don't know if it's still around. There used to be like a Facebook page or a website that's like, "Why is my 2-year-old crying?"
Oh,
Have you seen
awesome!
that?
No, I need to find that.
And then, so it's people take a picture of their kid and then write an explanation on why they're crying. It's always like so bizarre.
Well, it's funny.
We need to find that. Yeah, for sure.
Because one of our guests, he'll record his kids when they're having a tantrum.
Yeah.
And then turn around and show it to them. Like, look at what this kid's doing.
Do you remember when you did this like 2 weeks ago? This is your problem.
But
Accountability.
Exactly.
Right. Hold them accountable. I like that. But no, yeah, my tantrum this week was just a couple days ago. I don't know if I mentioned it on here before, but Liam, our oldest, he's 3, big fan of Spider-Man. All about all things Spider-Man. We watched Spider-Man before we go to bed, and we just had our 3rd birthday party, Spider-Man theme. Got a Spider-Man bike for his 3rd birthday. I mean, we even got him a bunch of Spider-Man shirts so that he could wear a different one every day, right? And keep him happy, because that's all he wants to wear right now. Well, for whatever reason, we was doing laundry the other day, and he likes to help us do laundry. He just thinks it's fun.
Gotta love those little helpers, man.
And so throwing clothes in the washer. And some of his clothes were in there. For whatever reason, he sees his one of his old blue shirts goes in the washer, right? And he's like, I want to wear the blue shirt. And we're like, well, dude, it's all dirty. You got
It's Spider-Man Day. Quit it.
Everything else, yeah. You got your Spider-Man shirt on. Just be happy. Wear that, right? Well, he wasn't happy. But we shut the washer door, and he gets even more upset at that point. He's banging on the door, trying to open the door. He finally gets the door open. Yanks the shirt out, trying to take off Spider-Man, trying to put on blue shirt, and it's kind of funny, but then he's still losing it, so then it's not funny anymore.
No, it never is.
And so we take it from him again, explain like, hey, it's dirty, can't wear it, we got to wash it, and he's having an epic meltdown. Not as bad as tonight, but still pretty epic. But yeah, and so he's still just banging on the washer, and so finally it gets to a point where like I have to walk over to him, grab his hands, do our little breathing exercise, calm him down a little bit. And I even pull out the shirt. I'm like, look, you have milk stain on your shirt here. You have food stain up here. You got who knows what over here, right? And I'm like, look, we have to wash it because you can't wear it when it's dirty,
Sure.
dude. People will judge you for that. and he
Jeff does it all the time. I don't know what you're worried about.
Oh, for sure. I'm known for it.
It's actually my style now.
Yeah. That's what I go for.
But yeah,
that's
then
what happens.
finally after I explained to him like, hey, this is why we can't wear it. We're gonna wash it. We're gonna dry it. Then you can wear it. He finally calmed down. But yeah, man, that was a good one. It's
pretty good. Well, it's actually not good, but
Yeah.
that's a good story.
Yeah,
So nice work.
I think one of you said earlier, they get hooked on stuff and it's hard to change their mind.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's no rationality to it.
Yeah,
Whatever
I was the
No.
blue cup kid in my house, and so
Yeah.
I totally understand that thought process. I only drink out of the blue cups.
Yeah.
I think the hardest age is, to me, in my experience, is like 18 months or so,
Okay.
where they can run around, but they can't listen
or communicate
rationally.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, hey, don't go over there, come over here. They can't. Like,
Yeah.
they can't
There's no
follow.
why. Sure.
And so there's like the whole era, which I will get into soon again, is that we're like, I just remember that feeling. Like we had some barbecue or something recently, and like last summer, And I just remember there was one parent who was just like in the driveway following their 18-month-old. So you can be at places around people, but you're not actually there.
No, not at all.
Right?
Yeah,
That's a great way to put it.
100%.
Yeah.
As a representative of that community right now, I understand that thought process.
Yes.
You can be in public, but you're not. You're just
Yeah.
somewhere
You're not
with
present.
your kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're there, but not present.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you can enjoy a party for as long as you want to without the I got to kind of stick around.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I got an excuse. It's this little 18-month-old.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing ever. I don't get to use it. I love that. It's a built-in excuse. That's really good. What kind of, do you have a tantrum or anything that you guys have dealt with lately?
My kids don't tantrum very much. I tantrumed a ton as a child.
Bragger.
Big time.
Show off. Yeah.
People knew me for it. But my kids don't tantrum that much. But tonight we have like a basketball hoop in the garage that I don't know what details to include from last night.
Yeah, right. The second time we're recording the same story, but it's still fun.
No, it was
Very
anyway.
immaculately built.
Yeah, so
Basketball.
I hung a basketball hoop with wood coming down so it wouldn't take up floor space. And so we play basketball in there. It's great because we don't have a basement. And so it's kind of like the run around place where the kids can scream and
Perfect.
whatever.
Make noise.
You got to have
It's okay.
some place like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, especially with a newborn.
Yeah. Listen, you guys can't make this noise in the house. Go outside.
Yeah. But I do, as a dad, believe in like giving them crazy time. Like they need to
For
have
sure.
crazy time.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It's like, yeah, you guys get to run around
Right.
and be loud. It's important as a kid.
Exactly.
To
You got
express
to
that.
get that out. Get those
So you're not just
expressions
always
going.
like
Regimented.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you might get in trouble. You might get too loud. Like you got to be.
It's okay. You're
crazy.
a kid. You're allowed to
Yes,
be. You're
yes.
allowed to be crazy. You're a kid.
So anyway, so we were playing tonight, and Rue, my 5-year-old, he and Elias, my 10-year-old, were going for a ball, and Elias fell down on him, and he hit his toe. So Rue starts screaming, and he's kind of at a stage where he does that. He'll scream if he thinks he's wronged.
Okay.
If he's
Okay.
actually hurt.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So you got to kind of decipher. But I think it did hurt.
He thinks he's wronged.
It's like a tactic. It's like a younger brother tactic because they feel a little powerless.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So they scream, and I have to figure out if it's real or not. Your kids do activities yet? Probably not.
We've started doing like swim lessons a little bit, but nothing
Yeah.
crazy yet.
So like we go to like basketball games with the kids and stuff like that they're in, and like when your kid falls and gets hurt, you're like, nah, he's fine. I know this song and dance.
Yeah.
When it's another kid, you're like, oh my gosh, are they okay?
I can't tell if
see
it's
it.
honest unless it's my kid.
Yes. You're like, I know these tells. But if they're actually hurt, you're like, I know they're hurt. Oh no.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Move, go.
so Elias said he was great. He was like, I'm sorry, I hit him. My knee landed on him, and Rue said, no, it was your butt, which is one of their favorite words.
Of course,
At 10 years old, of course it is. That's absolutely a word for a 10-year-old.
Yeah. So
Or is it? I guess is the question there.
Yeah.
Like,
so then I redirected it into butts being funny. And
Perfect.
Then eventually he felt better.
that's good.
And I passed him the ball and he scored, and then all of a sudden he doesn't care anymore.
Day made.
He's fine.
Well, again,
Yep.
we talked about redirecting. That's how you do it. It's
Yeah,
either
yeah.
you make them laugh or you let them score a bucket. And that's
Yes.
really how that works.
Yes.
Or both.
Yeah.
Our tantrum this week, we've got an impatient baby. Again, it feels like deja vu all over again because I've told this story once tonight. But Elsie is impatient, but only with Liv and I. She is the most patient baby with my parents. She stays one day a week with my mom, and they go to the grocery store recently, and Elsie points out a yogurt that she wants, a very specific one out of the fridge, and okay, well, she gets the yogurt and she's watching it, and then she's going to try and put her thumb through it because she's going to try to eat it. But mom says, no, let's not do that. And she listens. And then she picks that up and puts it in the cart, and she's asking about yogurt while it's in the cart. But she's nice, and she's not yelling about it. And then we go put it on the conveyor belt at the grocery store, and then she sees it go into the bag, and she's watching the bag. But for 20 minutes, she's just following this little bit of yogurt and is perfectly fine to just follow it around. She's not going to yell about it. It's fine. And mom says, all right, we're going to eat it when we get home. 20 minutes go past, and then she gets to eat it. Whereas here in this house, when she's with mom and dad, it's just hot dogs.
Right.
I want a hot dog right now. Hot dog, and just screaming at the top of her lungs.
Like she's working at Wrigley Field. Hot dogs! Hot dogs!
Get your cold beer here.
That girl's got a future,
Right? God. She's definitely got the pipes for it, man. But
A child vendor.
how perfect is that? There's the YouTube video right there. Hot dogs. Get your hot dogs here. No, but she will and just have zero patience with us, but is apparently infinitely patient with my parents. And it's probably because my parents will do whatever the hell she asks them to do, and we won't.
Yeah.
But like, we won't, elaborate on that. I'm mostly just annoyed that she won't do what I ask. But again, to your point, she's like a couple months short of 2 years old. So inevitable that she's not actually going to pay attention.
Very recently, she could only cry.
Yeah, 100% true.
point.
And still drinks out of a bottle sometimes. So like that's inevitable.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse that they act so much better for other people than you.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want them to act better for you or for other people?
Well, that was that. I mean, it was that thing that we saw, or I saw somewhere that said that like they, if they're acting up at home, it's because they feel comfortable. It's like their emotional home base. But then I was like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. that doesn't.
I still have to
home
deal
base
with it.
somewhere else.
Yeah, like I don't
good
need the rationalization of this whole thing. I don't need the actual like scientific or like psychiatric answer to that. I just need it to stop happening, please. Please, God help us all.
Make home base somewhere else.
Yeah,
That was good.
yeah, the backyard. I'm gonna put you in the backyard by yourself. It's fine. You're two. You can handle it.
Oh man. Well, sounds like we could all use some good dad hacks for where our kids lose
Nice
it at.
transition. Nice work.
So yeah, that's another question we ask everybody, Jeff, is what's a good dad hack you have? And so won't put you on the spot being our guest, but Brian, what's your dad hack this week?
Perfect.
Me and Jeff think you have a pretty good one.
Yeah, I hear you guys might like this one.
Yeah.
I started a couple of months ago an email address for Elsie. And we've got it all double authenticated, 2-factor authenticated, and it's saved on Liv's phone and it's on mine. And I'm going to start, well, no, I'm not going to start. I will send birthday messages. I'm going to send stuff that I'm excited for her to know, or things that I want to introduce to her, or pictures that I'm really excited to share with her and for her to just have forever. It's nice pictures of her and I, nice pictures of her mom and her, and just so she can have a collection of things to go back to later in life. It's kind of like this podcast. Like the whole point, one of the reasons we started this podcast was it's just something for our kids to see in their, well, they're going to think it's really dumb in their teens and probably into their 20s, and then maybe in their 30s they'll think it's funny, and then maybe in their 40s they'll think it's nice to have, but for a couple of years they're going to think it's real dumb. But whatever the case may be, I just want to put together a collection of things for her, something that she can be excited about, and things that I want to share with her that she can go back and kind of look at later in her life. So that's what the email address is for. It's been
That's amazing.
It's been fun. It's been just kind of. It also feels kind of weird to look at a kid that can't speak English yet, but also be sending her full-blown emails. But it is. It's.
You think there's a chance she'll never see them?
There's maybe. I mean, that is a distinct possibility with my inability to remember how to use technology correctly. That there's a strong chance that I don't push the right button, and then all of a sudden she doesn't get to see any of the work that I put into that.
Well, that or when she becomes of age, will email still be a thing?
Yeah,
right?
or will Gmail or will somebody take over Google, and that'll never happen.
Yeah.
But
still,
but will Gmail disappear? But maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
When the aliens come, it'll be a whole thing.
It's like someone making. This is the worst thought on this. It's like someone making phonograph records for their child for them to one day play.
Actually, you're not wrong. Like VHS.
Like, what is it?
I made a
What do
VHS
I
tape
do
for
with
my
this?
kid. How the hell do you play a VHS tape? That doesn't work anymore.
Right? But for
Like
real.
a floppy disk.
Yeah.
I used to
That's
have,
another
like,
example.
discs.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I still have them like in a shoebox. I've seen them, and I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to put them.
No,
Yeah.
I mean we've got
Yeah,
a cassette company that makes cassettes in Springfield, Missouri, but
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell to play one. I don't know where I would go to play one of those cassettes that get made here in
right.
town. I
I'm
have
that
no
way
idea.
with CDs now. I mean,
Really?
I guess the car, but like, I guess, yeah.
But that's the only
some
place
cars
you
don't
could.
even have them
I was
anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
Depends on how new your vehicle is, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
Cloud.
Man, the problems we
got sad.
run into.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, well, but still, it's accurate.
Passage of
Yeah.
time.
The passage of time.
One
What about you, DC?
generation
Do you have
to
anything?
Yeah.
another.
But no, my dad hacked. Can't take credit for it. Stole it from a guy that I saw on social media here, and I can't even
I
utilize.
should say I don't get to take credit for mine either. I found it
Yeah.
online and stole it.
Man, I can't even utilize mine right now either because both my kids are out of like the baby infant stage. But this guy was going through, or is going through infant stage, and he's like, you know what? Instead of doing laundry all the time, he's like, I got a great hack for you dads because when they're babies, you're holding them, sleeping on you, drooling on you, spit upping on you, all kinds of stuff that's getting all over that shirt. And so he's like, here's what you do when you're with your baby, you just flip that shirt inside out. And they can spit up on it, spill milk on it, do whatever. Do whatever on the inside of it, right? And then he's like, when you got to, get out of the house, run to the store, maybe, run to the office for a little bit, you just flip that shirt right side out. Nobody knows any of that stuff happened. You cut your laundry time in half, and he's like, you're good to go. So,
Like it never even happened.
Right?
It's kind of like college. You know what I mean? Where you're just like,
Jeff, there you go.
I was gross. I'm wearing it. Like, as a dad and when you're in college, you're wearing gross shirts.
Yeah, for sure. And like I definitely changed my sheets a lot when I was in college, for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Actually,
didn't just turn them inside out.
I had someone recently be like, hey, you wear blazers a lot. Like, what do you do? Get those dry cleaned? And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to clean
do.
these.
I used to. I've forgotten for like 5 years.
That's what adults do with those.
I'd literally forgotten. I was like, I did used to do that.
Yeah, but then the pandemic happened, and I didn't really leave the house with them. I just wore them in my house.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody just went primal after the
Exactly.
Like, hey, kids, introduce me when I come into a room. Hey, everybody, good to see you. Show's about to start.
Glad you're all here. Did you have a? Did you remember your dad hack that
No,
you
but I
forgot
thought
on the
of
way
a
over
new
here?
one.
Perfect. All right, I love it. New content for the three of us.
Well, because you're, as a dad, you're always looking for things to do with your kids because you kind of run out. I've always thought maybe you guys could pioneer this. It would be a great, I don't know if it'd be a Facebook group or what, but it would just be like things you do with your kids, like when you run out of ideas. Everyone has like little different ones.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's like, I got a great one. I don't want to tell anyone, but
this is the Jeff Houghton
yeah,
secret.
I'll secretly tell you guys.
Yeah.
Later. But this is a good one. Is I will take my kids, not the 12-week-old. She hasn't gotten this yet, but take them on the bus. We'll go downtown and go to like the bus station.
Okay.
And they
Nice.
love looking up like the maps on like where to go. And like the first time I took my oldest, he was like
How much
3.
fun is that?
And it's like, I mean, it costs like $6 total or something.
Sure.
And like he is, and like 3, they're just like any big vehicles. So
The
excited.
coolest thing in the
Right.
world,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So we sit there, and then like the bus goes like, and he's like, he was just
What just
so
happened?
excited. So we usually go like somewhere north side. Like the buses take like these meandering routes, and then like so we go to like Commercial Street, and then get something to eat, and then go to a different bus stop, and then take it back to the main one, and then get in the car.
I love that.
That is cool.
And
Yeah.
we've done different places. We've done to the library on Kearney in Kansas, the library station,
Yeah.
and like there's all these different places, and you get to see like parts of the city you might not see, and it's really fun. Everyone's like, people are like really nice to them because like they always got the maps out, and they're like, where are we going? They're so excited. Like people are excited to see kids excited.
I love that, man, and especially in a town where like the bus. It's a good bus system, but it's underutilized, and so
Yes.
and so it is. That is. I love that, man. I'm definitely stealing that for sure. That's a Saturday, like mom's gone, dad and Elsie are going to play,
Definitely a dad
kind of
thing
deal.
to do.
That, like,
It's definitely a dad thing.
yeah. God, that's so good.
The other dad thing I do along those lines is we'll like the kind of those like Okay, so you know where on Lone Pine there's like the Galloway Trail, and there's like some woods. Some kids turned into like a mountain bike trail.
Yeah.
Before it was a mountain bike trail, like we would just kind of go back and it was just kind of like deer trail, and we would just go explore. So you go to places where like the city owns woods, and you go just explore the woods.
Just walk the woods. Sure.
You don't have to drive like an hour away. Just somewhere in the city. You gotta kind of be careful, but just somewhere in the city, you feel like you're exploring. When they're like 4, they're like, I'm exploring.
I'm in the woods. I am an adventurer. Yeah, that's
Coolest
awesome.
thing ever for them.
I do a lot of like that sort of speak with them. I realize that at some point they're going to realize like none of these were secret passageways. I do a lot of shortcuts, and they're like, eventually going to be like, this wasn't a shortcut.
This was just some trees. What are you doing, Dad? What are you talking about? That's good, man. Great. I like that one. So just trying to think about like you being a dad and also you being a public figure and kind of being somebody who's got an online presence both before the pandemic and then during the pandemic, and then obviously the success of like Instagram husband and some of those kind of things. I wonder if you and your wife, I'm just curious if you could speak to like the balance or the separation of like your public persona or like your internet persona and then your personal life or your family life, or like if you've had any of those conversations with your kids about like how to handle being on the internet, or hey, we're not going to talk about you on the internet, or any of those kind of things. I just wonder if you have been, again, being somebody who's got that presence online, I wonder if that's something that you've kind of experienced yourself.
I think I must put some thought towards it. I don't have any rules or anything.
Yeah.
But my wife puts pictures of the kids up quite a bit, and I used to more. I just have less interest in social media
sure
than I used to.
Yeah.
But
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think everyone, I don't know.
At a certain point, it's just like I'm interested in hanging out with my family, not taking pictures of them and then putting it out there. That's just my personal thing of it, but not into it.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if we all like turned a corner during the pandemic, where it was all we had, and then we like crescendoed, and then we were like, oh,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm out. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah. So I don't think we have rules necessarily, but I'm interested in like making my relationship right with social media for the sake of them, as they'll have it someday, presumably. That like I don't want to. I struggle with it a lot, like because like I don't know. I mean, I had a TV show, and I feel like I had much more of a digital presence than I do now. I'm just kind of like I don't know how to say it exactly, but like I'm like less interested in it. But I think it's better career-wise for me if I'm more interested in it than I am.
I'll try to find that balance.
The balance.
Sure.
I don't know what the balance is.
Because I don't know what it is either. Because we're both in businesses where we talk about our business on social media.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you've got a job.
Yeah, but I'm in charge of me. I'm both a lazy.
His dad's in charge of him.
Yeah,
so
he's not wrong.
Yeah,
That's a family business. My dad. I work for my daddy. So yeah.
The problem for me is that like I'm a lazy employee and
also
boss.
the boss.
Perfect combination.
Yeah,
perfect.
But I do try to even like on my personal, as opposed to like our agency's insurance, or excuse me, our agency's social media, trying to find that balance of like I don't really want to share the stuff that I put on Insurers of the Ozarks.
Yeah,
like, the people that are in my circle know that I'm an insurance agent. I don't need to beat them around the head and neck with my insurance business.
Right.
Like that's not necessary.
Right.
But also I want to make sure that I don't. My dad used to be in a church group, in a Bible study group with my mother and a bunch of their peers. And one woman, because my dad always wore a suit and tie to church, one woman came to him and said, "Hey, Greg, you're an attorney. Could you help me out with this one?" And goes on with his story. Because he wore a suit and tie, she just assumed he was an attorney because he didn't talk enough about his business.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so I've always kind of fallen back on that story as like, where's the happy medium between showing who you are, but also like not
maybe the point
beating
is
the dead horse.
Maybe the ones that are good at it maybe we include ourselves in the ones that are good at it because we're self-aware of trying to find a balance.
It's probably
I'm
fair.
self-aware.
Yeah, yeah, no,
For
that
sure.
certainly
Yeah.
exists on the internet.
Wait, is this? I think of you as a good dresser. Is this because of your dad?
But that's him right there. So yeah, that pocket square, that's him, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's no. I unfortunately I don't get to take credit for much. Most of what I do and what I know is because of him. So
Yeah, that's cool.
That's where this whole thing came from.
Well, Jeff, we was just talking about social media, and me and my wife actually just did our first parents away trip this weekend, but actually did not post anything about it on social media. So
Bragger.
Yeah, so that might be the first time that happened, but we do several trips, and it's always interesting when you have to take your kids on these trips because
That's a reoccurring theme on the show. Is
it's-
traveling with kids,
right,
man.
and it's always
Oh,
eventful, no matter how short the trip is, how far the trip is. Something's going down.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know we was talking a little bit before the show about some stories you have about traveling with your kiddos, and so I know you have a couple good ones for us. So will you elaborate on that?
My family. How'd that move?
I don't
The
know.
microphone's
Mind of its
attacking
own, baby.
I thought I went that way.
All of a sudden, it's in my Adam's apple.
Like, it's your turn now. So my family lives in Iowa, so it's like a 6-hour drive, and so we kind of love. I love that road trip. I love going up to see them, and like it's important to me to get
Sure,
the kids up
yeah.
there. And I can't remember why we were taking this route. Oh, we were going to Chicago this time, where I have other family, and so my oldest was like 2, so he's the only one around, maybe less than 2. I don't know. And I think it was the first time. So we used to always. This is a good dad hack. We used to. When
We
the
need to introduce it like that.
I like that a lot. Dad heck.
we used to leave for trips at like 7 at night. So like
Okay.
we would get
Right.
in
Sure,
at,
sure.
like, 1
Drive
in
through the night.
morning.
Yeah.
Which is like fine. Like I might maybe just a little later than I might stay up on a random night anyway.
Sure.
But you get in the like bigger chunks of sleep time, and so we were going up to Chicago, and I think we gave him the first time we gave him like a Kindle to look at like a video or something. It was like his first time. He's 2 or 3, and he started getting like motion sick from it, and I was like, "Oh no, I get motion sick.
Nice.
Have I passed this on?"
Is this hereditary?
Yeah. And so then like he's starting to feel like sick, and I'm like, "Oh no, and then he just pukes, and,
Nice.
like, all over himself and like the car and like
Yeah.
the.
Let's see. Too, he was still like backwards facing and everything too. So
I can't
it's
remember.
like
I think he was forward. He must have been forward facing, so he might
Okay.
have been a little bit older than what I'm saying.
yeah, but still.
Yeah. So it goes forward because I remember part of it. So then we like, what do we do? But it was like late. It was pretty late. And we'd hit like St. Louis. So it's probably like
The perfect place to stop in the middle of
11
the
or
night.
12. Yeah, middle of the night. We're in like when you go like through the city, not like going around it. We're
Sure.
like right in the middle of like the old part of the city. We're like, this exit. And then you can only get like so many wipes going, you know?
For sure.
So we pull over, and then we're like, we got to try and clean all this stuff, but the floor mats are like, I have like puke on them, and I'm like, I don't have a hose. What am I going to do? But we had stopped. I don't know where it is exactly. I want to say it's like the downtown like train station or something.
Okay.
Like that. We were right outside of this old building, well lit. There's a big fountain in front of it, and so
Oh yes.
so we took the floor mats and just dipped them in this fancy fountain.
You're welcome, St. Louis.
Whip, whip, whip. Here we go.
Just put them back in and drove off.
That's so good.
But you just have to do. You got to do these necessities. You got to
Yeah.
get through it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like this is a must. Listen, it's either ride another hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, to Chicago, and smell that vomit, or we're gonna
Like
have
4
to do
hours.
something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's way longer actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. It's like, oh God,
Yeah.
that's so funny though.
I did something recently. What did I do recently? I can't remember. But you just like are just like, I gotta survive.
Yeah.
It's a desperation move
Yeah,
at that
right.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
there
It's
you
just
go.
like, it's a means to an end. We're gonna get to the end,
I don't
whatever it
fault
takes.
any parent in any sort of scenario like that.
No, and we've talked about that before, where it's like when whether you're out in public and you see a kid having a tantrum or something,
Yeah.
and you as the dad, you look over at the other dad, and it's like, I got you, dog.
Yeah.
I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm not judging. I understand.
No one that's mad at a child on a plane has had a child.
100%.
on a plane.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's actually not something I've done yet. Is bring else on a plane. Have you guys done that?
We've done it, and it's been fine. Well, here's the dilemma: how do you teach a kid how to pop their ears? So
Okay, sure, that's an interesting question.
You need your ears to pop going up and going down, right? So the first flight I took, I was in like third grade. My parents gave me gum, and it like did the trick.
Sure,
but it's not like really. It doesn't like really do it. So we're descending from somewhere, and both of my kids can't pop their ears. They just start screaming.
Oh shit!
But they're like, Elias, my oldest, he's old enough for me to explain it to him. But I'm like, you have to open your jaw and like try to make it pop in your ears. But that doesn't make any sense.
No. It only makes sense to an adult who has felt that, had that experience before.
You're like, open your jaw.
Got it.
Faster. And like, can't do it. How could you?
But that's so accurate, though, because, again, kind of similar to what you're talking about, like with the 18-month-old, where it's like they don't really speak your language at that point.
Yeah.
How the hell do you explain something so abstract like that?
Oh,
That's
Some sort of internal working. There aren't words for it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also not something that you can show them. Hey, hold one finger up.
Right.
I can have you do that. Not wiggle your ears, but on the inside. What? What are you talking about, Dad?
No.
What are you saying? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh man, wiggle your ears on the inside. That's that's a great way to describe it, though.
The way I was always taught to do it is to like hold your breath and hold your nose and then just blow out.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also pretty sure that's probably why I can't hear very well, because all my eardrums a little bit burst.
You're right. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's
Yeah.
not a good way to do it, but that's the way it was always explained to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I didn't tell him that. That feels like too much potential for danger.
Yeah, right. No. It's not a good. I'm not advocating for it, Jeff. I'm telling you right now, it's not a good idea. Did you guys have any other trips or anything that you guys have taken with the kids? Like,
What did I tell you guys?
something about New Mexico, I believe. You mentioned New Mexico in the notes. I wondered if there was a trip or anything that you guys took that had stories from it.
Yes, we've been there twice. In
Nice.
2020, we basically decided we're just road tripping places.
Cool.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
And I kind of like. I think we've kind of kept it up. Like I really like it.
Have you guys gone like full Winnebago yet, or any of that kind of stuff?
I love that. No, but we are. What you don't. This is a good dad hack. Dad hack alert.
hacks.
Isolate that audio and use it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to.
Episodes.
No. There's a couple of things we're going to start doing.
Here,
and
we'll
that's
make
one
it
of
real clean. Just a sec. Dad hack alert.
them. Write it down. Mark it. Get it in the camera.
No, wait. I'm going to forget it now. What was I saying?
Talking about traveling with the kids, Winnebago. Don't have one yet.
So this is something you don't think about. You don't think about when you're deciding, are we going to have 2 kids or 3 kids?
Okay.
3 kids equals minivan.
Oh, you got to have the extra
Or
row.
like a third
Sure.
row
Yeah. Got to have the
SUV.
extra row.
So we're coming up to it, and I think moms are more this way, probably by and large. My wife, I'll say that,
Sure.
was like, I don't want to drive a minivan. It's like it feels like
you've
crossed some threshold.
Yeah, that's the Rubicon you don't want to cross.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't care. I never cared about what I drive. But I put out on Facebook like, hey, anyone have recommendations for like a third row SUV? And all these people were like, they'd message me like, you're going to get a minivan. You want a minivan. If you get a third row SUV, you're going to eventually get a minivan. Get a minivan now.
First and save the money.
Yeah. And so my wife then kind of came around, and we love it. We love
really?
having a minivan.
I love it.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. If I may, also, the Honda Odyssey.
That's the
has
winner,
like-
huh?
It has like, I think they're called Magic Slider seats or something like that. So the second row seats, you can take out the middle one.
Okay.
And the other 2, so you got like 2 captain's chairs. There's a little handle you can lift up on, and you can move them back and
Oh,
forth.
sweet. Yeah, cool.
So like I can put the baby in and then move her to the middle, and then my middle kid
It goes
into the back.
It goes side to side, not
to
forward
side.
and back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Side to
yeah.
side.
Oh, yeah. I'm into this
Easily.
for sure.
Easily. And so like it's an absolute game changer. So I am so pro minivan.
That's
Everyone get a minivan.
Liv has been talking about. My wife wants one. We've got one kid. I don't
Yeah.
personally don't think it's necessary at this time, but she wants one. But then as I'm picking Elsie up from daycare today, somebody's getting their kids into the car on the passenger side, which is where her car seat is.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, without even thinking about it, open the driver's side rear door and crawl through. But it's a bench seat. I'm in a Grand Cherokee, and so there's a bench seat back there. So I'm like crawling across hands with a 25-pound 2-year-old trying to throw her in there.
Yeah.
And a minivan would be way easier to just slide the door open.
If the door's open
And I don't
want
wanna
to
admit-
automatically.
Right.
See, but the bummer is
I don't
that-
want to admit it in public, Jeff. Is really, and this is
I'm
public, so I
telling
don't
you.
really want to admit it.
Come on over.
Come on in. The water's
There's plenty of
fine.
room in a minivan.
Literally.
Perfect.
Oh, man,
They're
that's
so
funny.
like gadgety practical. Like
Sure.
we can take the seats out, fold them down. Like we can do all these things, and we press buttons, and the doors just like close.
That's sweet.
And like,
Yeah.
I didn't know how much I wanted a minivan until I got a minivan.
We've got a buddy that has one,
I was
and
gonna bring that up,
they're
too.
obsessed.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
obsessed.
they
and I
got
just
one when they had their first child and only child.
yeah.
Thought they needed the minivan.
And I just
But
cannot get
it's
my head
been-
wrapped around it, man. I
Yeah.
just can't do it.
Well, it's been better utilized as like a road trip for like guys' weekend or something. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Funny thing about the Honda Odyssey has 15 cup holders, so plenty of room, plenty of room for coffees when you're
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah,
guys'
exactly. As long
guys'
as it's
weekend there,
yeah,
you
keep it
know,
away from the
plenty of
driver. We're good to
room.
go.
Yeah. So yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
Brian, are you holding on to the illusion that people are watching you drive around your current vehicle, being like, "That guy's cool"?
Yeah, because that Grand Cherokee, let me tell you, that's the hot rod, baby. No, I don't know, man. It's for whatever reason, it's that weird mental block. And it's probably because I'm a child of the 90s, and it harkens back to me, the full-size vans
Yeah.
with the seats that swiveled.
Oh, yeah. And had like a table.
and had tables exactly, and
Like a
and it was
lounge.
a camper, but that nobody used as a camper. They just
Yeah.
drove their kids to elementary school in it.
Yes,
and like
yes.
my carpool car. One of my mom's best friends lived down the street from us, and we carpooled back and
Yeah.
forth. And they picked us up, and it had blue shag carpet and blue shag ceilings and curtains inside the vehicle
yes,
itself,
yes.
and it was all like royal not Columbia, like royal dark blue. But for whatever reason, I've got that mental block against that, because it was just gigantic. It's one of those deals also where it looks like if it didn't have the nice blue curtains and the shag carpet, it would look like free candy had been written down the side of it. But I don't know. I've got that weird mental block against it.
I think about with like minivans of that era, like the Dodge Caravans of
Yep.
that era, and they'd have like the fake wood paneling.
Oh yeah.
I always think like, why would you want to give the impression it's made out of wood? That makes it classier.
No, yeah, it's actually more destructible.
It's a wooden van,
This is a material that rots.
flammable.
Although I will say the what was the Jeep, the big giant Jeep, the Comanche or whatever it was that had the wood paneling down the side. No, those were sick.
Like the Wagoneers.
Yeah, there you go, Wagoneer
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
'90s. Those were pretty
Super
sweet.
cool, yeah.
Those were pretty sweet.
I know. They're like, wow, this is made out of wood.
Yeah, but also for some reason it was cooler in that one than it was on the boxy Grand Caravan.
Yeah.
Um,
Where are we? Talking
no,
about minivans?
we've. This is the kind of stuff we want to talk about, man. I'm telling you. So you've talked a little bit about sports stuff with your kids. Have they gotten into sports? Are they doing any of that kind of stuff at this point?
Maybe this is something you guys have discussed.
Well, we talked about sports a lot,
It's
which is part of the reason.
impossible to know what to do. I feel.
I want to know all about this. And then, so the reason I bring this up is because we've had a lot of, he played college sports. We've had a couple of other guys on that played either college sports or like peaked in high school sports and were not very good in high school, or like are big sports fans now. And so we've talked a lot about sports. And so I want to know your impression on that. But then I also wonder, you being on the artist side, Are there particular parts of the arts that you're interested? My mom's a music teacher, so I grew up singing and I grew up doing like musical theater and those kind of things. So I wonder, you through the vein of the arts side of things, do you still have the same kind of thoughts that some of these like sports dads have for their kids? We're like, man, I hope he doesn't play tennis. Do you have those same thoughts, but like on the art side or like on the creative side of things?
So growing up, my family was known as a sports family.
Okay.
My dad was a tennis coach at University of Iowa.
Perfect.
And
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, my grandpa was a coach, and like on my mom's side, so like I didn't do any theater stuff as a kid. I didn't do any. I never got on a stage like ever.
Wow, that's amazing to me. Yeah. That's so cool.
It's weird. So like I was just too shy. So like
what
I'm
happened?
Doing, I don't know. Yeah, people wish for it. But like I'm going to do a show, a mystery hour in Iowa City. And I was just interviewed by the paper up there today.
Awesome.
And it's going to be at the Galois of Iowa City called
Perfect.
Englert. And the newspaper interviewed me, and I was like, this will be my first time on a stage in my hometown because I never did any of it.
How cool is that? I love that.
But I did. So yeah, I moved down here, started doing improv and stuff, and then I'm around all these like theater kids from that and stuff, and I'm like, this isn't my background at all. So sports, love sports, and you guys probably know this, but I played tennis at University of Northern Iowa my freshman year. I'm sure you guys are big fans.
Yeah, well, I have your jersey hanging in the.
Yeah.
It's in the other room.
Yeah, there's no sweat was had on that. So it's
The
pristine.
warm up actually never made it off my shoulders.
A little bit of spit up. So I really see the value in sports of like teamwork and like hard work and like dedication and perseverance, and I want that for my kids. The lane I grew up with, that you guys probably grew up with, doesn't exist anymore, which is like it seems to me there's either super duper rec or like super hardcore.
Sure.
And I was like, we were all in the middle of those two.
For sure.
And I don't know where that is. And so I don't want my kids, personally, I don't want my kids to be like super hardcore into one sport at age 8, 10.
Sure.
Yep.
Like, I'm just not interested in. I don't think it's great. I'm not interested in it. For some kids, it's fine. It's great. But I want my kids to be kind of more well-rounded in that regard. So we've done some of the super rec stuff, but then like my son was like probably one of the best ones because the really capable kids aren't there.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that like middle lane is hard.
Where's
to
that
come
middle
by.
ground? Sure.
Here's a dad hack. Dad hack alert. Whoop, 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 whoop.
By the way, I'm definitely clipping that, and we're definitely using it in future episodes.
So you'll become like a morning show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a full board of buttons. There's gonna be a fart noise, a car horn, and Jeff making those sounds.
So here's my idea, and I've told this to other parents, and they're like, "Yes, totally." But I don't have the wherewithal to start this. So
he's the idea guy.
I'm the idea guy. This is a summary of everything about me. I'm like, yeah. Let me give you ideas. I don't
Somebody else do
follow
this.
through.
Somebody else do this. I don't want to do it.
But it'd be called like the middle way sports, and it would open up that lane again.
Middle way.
Which is like, because all parents have this dilemma, and you guys aren't quite in it yet with the age of your kids, but all parents have this dilemma, and so it would be not crazy travel. Like you'd work out like maybe once a quarter, we might travel somewhere or something like that. I don't know. But so it's kids that like are like, yeah, I want to play in high school. I want to be good enough to be able to play in high school, because that's a dilemma. If you don't do the hardcore one, are you going to get enough reps against the kids that have to be able to make it on a team where a lot of the valuable lessons come in? So middle way. So like you just practice like twice a week, and you get like a mom or a dad that like played that sport in college that can.
All right, Derek, you're up.
Can coach it. So like Monday you have a practice, Saturday is your game. An hour before the game, you have a practice as well. So you get 2 practices and a game in a week, but it's not 3 nights. It's not 4 nights.
And you're not
nights.
driving to Kansas City
You're not
3
driving
times?
to Kansas City.
Sure.
And it gets the kids good enough and they're having enough fun, but it's not hardcore and not like crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not rec. It's middleway sports.
I love
Dead
middleway.
hand.
I love midway. That's good.
Well, and I think you hit a good point there too, is like not focusing on one sport, right? That would give
Right.
them time to do basketball, do baseball, football, soccer,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Where like now, like our kids' generation and a little bit or after them, I guess, that's their thing now. Is like they find one sport at second grade, and
Second grade, I'm
that's-
a basketball player.
That's
Man,
what we
doesn't
focus
seem
on all
reasonable.
the way through high school, and yeah, I think kids need to get the experience of a bunch of different sports, and ultimately, I think that would help them a lot in these other sports too, by playing different sports. But
Well, you look at a lot of the guys
Who
that
knows?
play. There are a handful of people that play professional sports that were just that stud of an athlete in general. It
Yeah.
had nothing to do with their skill
Yeah.
in any of the one sports. I mean, Dennis Rodman was not a basketball player until like 2 or 3 years before he went into the NBA.
Yeah.
Right.
He was just a freak athlete.
Yeah.
And so it's just like let's be well rounded. Let's go just be athletic in public. And I think that makes total sense. So then I'll circle back. What about the creative side? Do you have thoughts on like, I hope my kids do this, or I hope they don't do this? Because I know that there are some things out there that like could be either direction. I just wonder if you've had that thought.
I don't want my kid to have fame as a child. I don't want them to be like an influencer.
Yeah.
As
Which
a
is
child.
exactly
That's
where I
the
was going
thing
with that.
right
I had
now.
a feeling
Yeah,
that
right?
might
Yeah.
be the answer.
I mean, I think, you see it with like child actors years past that like early fame messes with your head.
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
And so I don't want my child to like chase that either, whether or not they're doing it. But then on the same token, I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day. At the same hand, if I'm me, exactly me, but I'm 10 right now, to have the same interests of like comedy, video stuff, maybe it would make sense for me to do that. I
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
Know anymore. But you do realize when you become a dad and you start raising kids, you're like, oh, I thought we were always going to be cool. But you see these like generational changes, and then you're like, you find yourself saying like, I don't get it. You just find yourself saying that.
Oh, and it's never more evident than like whatever the cool music is now, or whatever like the cool TikTok. I still can't get my brain wrapped around it. Like it's a thing. I know it exists. Well, that's also true. That's I had to delete it off my phone because I caught myself, flipping through it near constantly. But I also don't like. It seems like something that could just be completely consuming.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really want that in my life, and especially don't want it in a brain that hasn't fully formed.
Totally.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like, think
Totally,
about the
totally.
impression that could make on a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody under the age of like 25 or 21 or whatever that
Yeah,
there's-
true.
It's like whenever your
Once
brain
using
stops developing, the people that
Yeah.
are using it, it's creating a whole generation of, and this is going to sound like weird conspiracy theorist crap, but like it's creating a whole generation of like weird, like strange mental patient people that are going to be on these apps where their whole entire thought process is set up by an algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's
I know.
terrifying.
Yep. How many
Yeah.
likes? How many views? How many comments? Can I get?
Well, and you
All
referenced this a little
stuff.
bit earlier. Like you said that your son likes to do, like you guys like to make videos together because he has kind of locked into things that you're into, and
Sure.
you guys make videos together. But like he and you mentioned earlier, he's like, well, how many likes did that get? And it's like, that's not the thing.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about that, please. Let's not make that the thing we're chasing at
Right.
10 years old.
But it also like,
But then again, that's also what you're chasing.
right. So it made me evaluate for myself. Am I just chasing that? And then I'm like, ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does feel a little
No,
dirty. Sure.
We're having this conversation right now, and I'm just thinking about like with this podcast. you know?
While we're actively creating a podcast
Yeah.
where we're chasing likes and follows and
yeah.
all of that shit. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
none of us are
completely
clean.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
none
right.
whatsoever.
Weird to
Yeah.
think about. Yeah.
It is weird. So one of my parenting principles, I don't have many, I don't think, but like is I want my kids to be curious. Like I want to try to build curiosity because I think like if they find interest in the world around them and are curious about things, it'll lead towards lots of good things, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
just,
where
life
learning is.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
And so I always like kind of asking them questions about things like, I don't know, why do you think that is? And like trying to like come up with things. So kind of curiosity and creativity to me go together. So I would love to have them be creative, but not necessarily in a sense that it's like, I played football, now I want you to play football. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's
But creativity more as like a principle and less of like this needs to be one of your interests. Like my son is really into math. And I'm like,
perfect.
Where did that come from?
yeah.
Cool.
That is not me. Thanks, buddy.
Good for you.
That's great. So it's like finding their interest as well. But like, they both like, both my boys like being funny and they're far more outgoing than I was.
Really?
At that age. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is interesting to like try and figure that out. But like in terms of like exploring the arts and stuff like that, I really hope they're open to it. But I also don't think it's the only way because it wasn't for me.
No, because at the
Great
end of the
point.
day, you didn't start there, and
Yeah.
here you are now. So,
But it would have been advantageous to me to have started earlier, so I would like them to.
well, but
If
then
only.
on the other side of that coin, I referenced it. My mother was a music teacher. I did musical theater stuff, and I'm an insurance guy.
Yeah.
So like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
for certain.
Yeah.
And you aren't in the NBA.
No, unfortunately, I'm still.
You can still dunk, though, so I'll give you credit for
Still
that.
Trying to get there, but it's a long road.
There's a Rotary basketball tournament coming up. That's our entire that's our entire.
It's my last chance I got to make it big.
Throwing some elbows.
That's right.
Some octogenarians.
No, for sure. No,
Seriously.
we got rid of most of the 80-year-olds. There was an old guy in town in the downtown club whose nickname is Spider that used to play, and it was a 75-year-old man on the basketball court, and all of us were like, okay, gentle, get the ball gently. All right, Jeff, it's time for Derek's favorite segment. Big dad joke guy, really loves those.
Yeah.
Big dad joke
It's time for dad joke of the week. Speaking of segment intros with obnoxious sounds, we got to do our dad jokes this week. And I'm going to make you go first since we've got a professional entertainer here. I want to give him a chance to really get acclimated to the process here.
That's right. Prepare to be impressed. Okay, boys.
Uh-oh.
What does a mermaid clean her fins with?
What does a mermaid clean her fins with? Don't have an answer to that one. Go ahead.
Jeff's thinking here.
Her hands.
It's valid.
Right?
Yeah, no, actually, I think he's right. No, that's the answer, right?
She cleans it with Tide.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo.
All right, Brian. Let's see what you got.
That's okay. I've got 1,000 of them, but I'm going to go with this one. Did you guys hear about the chameleon that can't change his colors?
Mm-hmm.
He suffers from erectile dysfunction. Got him. I got a giggle. Out of him. That's all I was looking for. I just want one smirk and one snort, and that's all I care about.
It wasn't. It didn't
like,
come
it wasn't
with
legitimate.
respect.
No. It was involuntary. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I was reading these dad jokes, and that's what I was laughing at.
Yeah. I was reading.
It was what was on my phone.
I was reading a boring article.
Oh man.
Do you have any? So I heard during the break that you're also not like a straight up just like dad joke guy, right? Like you don't carry those around in your pocket or
No,
anything.
I can't remember any jokes ever. My whole life.
Which just
people will
is
be like, "Tell me a joke."
hysterical
And I'm
to me.
like, I don't know any jokes.
Right.
I don't know any.
Well, but how many
got
comics?
nothing.
Like how many comics that you hear like when they meet a fan or something? It's like, hey, do something funny. It's like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
no, it's hours of prep and stories. It's not just hey, say something funny.
Yeah, it
not
doesn't
how
work
that
that way.
works.
I'm
Right.
sorry.
I will say when my kids have started using the term with me when I make a joke that I think is great that they've grown at. So whenever they're like, that's a dad joke, I go like,
Huzzah! Way to go, me!
done it.
You're
I've
welcome.
done it. Awesome.
what do you call a policeman in bed?
Oh no, I have no idea.
I don't know if I want to touch this one.
An undercover cop.
Ah.
See, that's the stereotypical dad joke.
Yeah,
I like
right
that.
there.
That's the way to end it there. Well, Jeff, do you have anything you want to plug before we kind of let this thing go? We really appreciate you being here.
Find me on social media. I love it.
Yeah, we're big fans. Big fans of the social medias.
Post a lot.
Exactly. Well, it's actually kind of fun. Jeff, speaking of how much we love social media, Jeff here is about to be our 700th subscriber on YouTube. He doesn't know it yet.
Yeah,
We're
no
at
pressure.
699 as of recording. So Jeff's going to
You
be
have
our
699 subscribers?
We do, yes.
That's great.
So Jeff's going to be our 700th. He just doesn't know it yet.
I have to?
It was in your contract.
It was you signed the
signed
contract.
it.
Yeah, in perpetuity, as a matter of fact. You have to stay a sub forever. But we are still getting a lot of comments. We're still getting some DMs. We're getting folks sending us dad hacks and jokes. We really appreciate it. So it's hilarious. You should see the comments, Jeff. There's actually people.
That's awesome.
Some of them are nicer than others. You've not dealt with any like obnoxious comments at all ever, I'm sure.
I hate them.
Totally get it. Yeah.
Isn't that funny though? We were talking earlier about social media and likes and followers.
And here we are.
You guys said you'll be our 700 subscriber, and I was like, "You have 699. All right,
Way to go, us. Good way to go, team.
We're all part of the game."
Exactly.
Right.
It's and here we are putting a thing out on social media. So dang it, here we go. Well, man, we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for lending us 2 hours of your time. Except it's only going to look like an hour on camera.
Two
So
recordings,
we appreciate that.
This was not worth my time.
Yeah, it's 1.5 free coffees out of the deal. It was
worth my
definitely
time.
worth
This
it.
was great.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So hey, way to go, decent dad. Nice job.
job.
You're
Good.
part of the crowd now.
You guys are decent dads.
Nice work. So without further ado,
Let's do it.
we'll see you next time.
Right.
Do you guys text yourself?
Constantly.
Yeah.
And email myself.
I'm always
I
worried
email
about
myself.
I'm an
Yeah.
email guy for sure.
and daughters.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Your daughter.
Well, she ever gets it. Not everybody else's daughter, just the one, really. Well,
It could have got real.
there's the other one upstairs, but she's also my wife, so.
Somebody's daughter.